It is sneezing season.
Thank you for joining the Escape With Me Book Club. Escape with me, Sam Reiner.
And me, Hannah Rossell.
Into our most recent read. Come with us as we evade reality and go into detail about a new book. We'll be covering the book from beginning to end, so there will be spoilers. Today we're going to Alternate United States. Published May 31st, 2022, Rivals is the third installment in the American Royal series. The League of Kings is upon us and new friendships are being forged, even ones that should have been impossible. Can the ladies of the series finally find their forever? Or will titles come between them and their happily ever after? So you decided we were going to do this.
I regret nothing. It was a really good read. I think I finished it in like 4 days.
It's a pretty good one. So I read all of the books in 2023. There was a huge gap for me between Rivals and Reign, which is the next book, because my library was weird and was like, yeah, we'll get all 3 of the other books as soon as they come out, but we're going to wait like 6 months to get the new one.
That doesn't matter, right? Yeah, that's fine. You'll be okay.
I don't know. But that being said, I listened to them as audiobooks and I've been reading them physically. But something went wrong when I got the audiobook for this.
Yeah, I saw your note. What happened?
It skipped chunks and mostly Sam's story.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah.
Hers was one of my favorites.
Oh, that's funny because I'm over here like, wow, I didn't miss much.
Fair enough.
I would be listening to it and then all of a sudden it would be like, bleh, and skip to a different part. And then I thought, oh, I'm just not paying attention. Let me go back 15 seconds. And it wouldn't let me back up.
Oh.
It was super janky and I don't know what was wrong with it. No one's complained about the audiobook online. So I'm wondering if just the download was bad or something like that.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
So it was nice actually getting to read this in its entirety.
You're like, oh, that's what I missed.
Yeah. For example, the beach scene. I didn't have any of the beach scene until they were breaking up.
Oh, geez. That sucks.
Yeah, and so I was like, what?
Excuse me?
Okay, I guess we're breaking up now. So that was my experience with this book.
Yeah, what a way to just get thrown into that.
Yeah, but granted, like I said, I say I didn't miss much because I got the gist of Sam's.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be with him, but I can't be with him. But I want to be with him, but I can't be with him. And I got that in snippets. I didn't get the full emotional impact.
Yeah.
But of all the plot lines, that's probably the one where it's like, yeah, you could skip most of it and still get an understanding of the book.
Yeah. Hers was just a nice little break the rest of the book. That's why I enjoyed hers so much. I was like, a nice little break.
For right now, H level YA still.
Yeah.
And we have content warning, racism mentioned, which I do think that's a weakness of the book, but that's beside the point. Sex implied, nudity implied, illicit drug usage. Well, dang, that's new for the series.
Yeah.
Language and sexism mentioned. The show don't tell, pardon me, and it's like you want to keep the book nice and fluffy, and I get that, but if you're gonna make such a big deal that people are being racist to Marshall, maybe you should show them being racist to Marshall and not just be like, oh, he has it harder because he's black.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah, they have, the media is being mean to him.
Yeah, I appreciate that it was mentioned, but I think there could have been more detail.
If a white girl picks this up, because, I mean, that's probably the demographic for this, but if a little white girl who hasn't had much experience of racism picks it up, I don't think you're really teaching that. It feels like she wants to teach a lesson about racism, but what is the lesson? Things are harder for black people. That's such an abstract. How does one become an ally and help fix it if they don't know what to look out for? She didn't have to go all out.
Yeah.
She didn't have to go super big. She didn't have to go to things like Harry and Meghan's child being called a monkey.
Yeah.
In the tabloids, like, you didn't have to go that far. I mean, it's real life example, so you could have, but you could have just focused on the microaggressions. And that would be so useful because that's what they deal with most often day to day, in and out. is microaggressions. And we could have had a really cool lesson on microaggressions and how to be an ally to the Black community and help them feel less tired. But it's just, I don't know, it's pretty weak. She just tells you. I wish you had showed me that instead of just randomly saying, hey, this is a thing.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort it took to address it. Kudos for that.
Judge a book by its cover. I seriously thought it was Sam and Beatrice.
Me too. I was like, what's the beef?
For real, though. After reading the book, you're like, oh, okay, that's the French princess, acting regent. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Louise. I thought Louise was going to be a jerk.
Me too.
And then she was fine. And you come to find out it's called Rivals because of not Sam's plotline, first of all, but because of Nina and Daphne.
Yeah, you could have put different people on the cover.
And then we'll get to the fourth book when we get to the fourth book, but that cover makes no sense to me now that I know that Sam isn't blonde.
Yeah, what color hair does Sam have?
The wiki says chestnut, lighter. And then, let me see, where's Sam on? I think they mentioned her hair color. Nope. There is no description of Sam in this book. I take it back.
She automatically, in my brain, just always looks like you because you guys have the same name.
Yeah.
I need you to know it's just a Sam, and I'm just like, all right, she's in there.
Yeah.
Every time. So you're a princess now. You're welcome.
Yay.
Don't sound so excited. So enthusiastic.
So this book, I think, highlights an issue that I have with the series as a whole. Beatrice is on her own island, literally, in this book. Her big dramas center around, I'm the first queen ever in America, and here's all these other people, and I'm trying to prove myself. And it's like she has an actual plot line, and then all the other girls are just like, oh my gosh, boys!
Yeah.
But I do think Nina and Daphne have a good plot line.
I was not expecting it.
Because Nina's worried about keeping her scholarship and ruining her life. And Daphne is worried about her father losing his title. So real world consequences for their plot lines. And that's why I'm like, I'm not sad that I skipped Sam's. Because Sam's is literally just boys. Why you gotta treat her like that? I'm more than just the heir. I'm da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, I'm gonna go obsess about this boy for this entire book.
Yes, exactly.
She kind of got gypped on the plot.
Like I said, hers is just like a nice little breath of fresh air.
But even then, it's disconnected.
Yeah.
That's why it's a breath of fresh air. It's just completely disconnected from everyone's seriousness. It's so weird. But yeah, so Beatrice, League of Kings. The League of Kings is just a gigantic security risk. I kind of can't. All the reigning monarchs for all of these places. If the UN has ambassadors, the United Nations has ambassadors for a reason.
Yeah, they're like, let's just put all these people in an island that's easy to find because it's pretty identifiable.
And everybody knows it's happening.
And they're just gonna go party on like their yacht. That's a terrorist dream.
It's pretty rough. I have questions and thoughts because it's not only just the kings, it's the kings and the heirs. The royalty and their heirs are all in this one island.
You could devastate monarchies by blowing up this convention.
Wow, that's pretty nuts. But yeah, so League of Kings, she wants to get her climate change bill to go through because her dad always wanted it to go through because the media is terrible to her and thinks that she can't do anything right. And so she thinks if she can get this through, they'll be like, oh no, maybe she can do things. And in my mind, thinking about the book before I reread it, that was a huge part of her plot. Like, it was just constantly coming up. And then I reread it, and it comes up in, like, 3 scenes.
Yeah, just from reading the description, little blurb of this book, I thought it was going to be a much bigger plot point.
Nope.
Mistaken.
No, she's too busy partying with Luis. Which isn't bad. Like I said, I don't think her plot lines are bad or anything. I actually really enjoyed them. But it was just, rereading it, I was like, never mind. I was wrong. I remember this differently.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed that we didn't see more of, I know this is probably just boring, like the day-to-day, just like the political side of the League of Kings.
Well, because it's so interesting. Like the scene of her playing poker.
Yeah, I would have loved more things like that.
I could have read a whole book of just that.
Her just figuring out that, like, oh, this is how
we do stuff.
This works.
Louise kind of takes her under her wing since she's also from a country where she will be the first queen ever. So Louise helps her, and then in the end, Beatrice helps Louise. And the problem with the plot line and why I don't solely call this romance is her love plot line is she keeps ignoring Teddy.
Yeah. And then is shocked when he's upset. Girl.
Yes.
Girl, who wouldn't be upset?
But it plays on one of the tropes that I hate. Oh no, there's this big thing that completely changes our lives and is extremely temporary. How dare you not push that to the side so we can do something extremely mundane? He wants to redo the king consort's.
Yeah, I understand it's frustrating, but you are literally engaged to the queen. You're not always going to be...
Yeah.
Sorry.
He wants to redo what king consorts do because queen consorts basically just did charity events and garden parties. And he wants to have more than that to do. And, oh, by the way, the girl from the last book that got that random, Jane, I think her name was, who got promoted for like half a second while they find a real person.
Oh, yeah.
The interim Chamberlain is no longer interim. We have this other Chamberlain. And so Beatrice is like, hey, we want to redefine this. And the Lady Chamberlain's like, hey, all the monarchs in the world, not in the world, but a lot of them are coming to this conference. And it's a really big deal. And it only lasts a week.
I don't remember.
Time is a bit of a construct in this.
It lasts a specific amount of time that we don't know.
Yeah, really, really big event that only happens every 5 years, and America is hosting. It's basically, I want to say it's like the Olympics in that the location is a huge thing, talking about how the countries are fighting over 2050.
Yeah.
So it's a really big deal. And like I said, it's very temporary. But Teddy gets pissy that she's not redefining his role as king consort.
Please, Teddy, have some perspective. I was rooting for him. And then he just kind of was a jerk this book. I was like, oh, ew.
You know this is temporary, and I hate books that do that, where it's like a huge thing happens, it's so temporary. Oh, I have this big event. Oh, I have this pie cook-off, or whatever Hallmark is doing.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, you haven't put me ahead of this really big event.
How dare I not be your first priority?
How dare I not be your top priority at all times? It's so stupid.
Like, I can't imagine doing that in real life, being like, how dare you not prioritize me in front of this?
Put me before your exam.
Like, what?
How dare you put me ahead of this major project you've been working on at work?
That could literally define your entire career.
And it ends up, yeah, he's annoyed at that, which I feel like he should be a little bit more understanding. Dude, it's a week, or even if it's a month.
It can be annoying.
I get it. You want to be doing something. I absolutely get it. But I feel like you should have talked to her instead of letting the resentment build.
Yeah. Once again, one of my personal least favorites is the no communication or miscommunication.
Everyone hates it.
Which did make me want to throw my Kindle across the room sometimes with Sam and Marshall.
Yeah, they're not better. So in the end, he ends up leaving because he feels taken for granted. And I think that's a fair criticism. I absolutely do.
Yeah, and he heard what she said to Louise, and I get that feels bad.
Yeah, dang it, Louise. He knew she was in love with someone when they first got together, but he didn't know who, and then he finds out it's the Revere Guard.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure why that makes him extra mad, because there's only so many people she comes in contact with, my dude.
Yeah, I get maybe feeling upset that she didn't tell him who it was, but also you didn't ask.
And maybe that makes it more real for him. Like before it was just an abstract.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh.
It's a real thing for him now that he knows exactly who it was, but I don't know. There are parts of Teddy's plotline where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fair. But then there's other parts where I'm like, my dude, wait a week. It's fine. And he goes to Boston to help his little brother learn how to be not the heir, to actually be the Duke. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's a great use of your time.
Yeah.
But don't abdicate your position and then hold it against Beatrice that you had to abdicate.
Yeah, and then trying to be like, you didn't ask me to do that, blah, blah, blah. No. And then it freaked her out. Do you not understand?
Yeah, because it became real.
That would freak anybody out.
They definitely slipped into miscommunication tropes themselves. And a huge part of it is that Beatrice is kind of jet-setting around the world, mainly to France and back, but with Louise hanging out with her friends constantly, partying with them, this, that, and the other thing, and not with him. So I don't know. I like the League of Kings plot line, but I'm not a huge fan of Teddy's. It just feels like there needed to be drama. They were too secure, they were too cute, so you have to have drama. And I'll just go ahead and say this. The series goes for one more book. If she had gone to like a 5th book, I don't think I could have stood the drama anymore.
It's just the right amount of drama.
I still have tolerance for it. Okay, yeah, real couples have real problems. And then we have the drama that'll be next book.
Oh, man.
Don't Ross and Rachel this. If we had a 5th book, I feel like we would hit that area with them, because it's like, oh, we still gotta have romance drama, part of the billing of this. So it's okay. 3 out of 5 stars.
I gave it 4 just because I have a soft spot in my heart for the series. It's put me on a Royals reading binge.
Oh, I meant their plot line specifically.
Yeah, for sure. If we were to get a 5th book, I'd want to focus on a different couple.
Yeah, I would want new characters.
Yeah.
These people have been through enough.
I could take, like, maybe some Nina, although she sort of irks me, so.
Yeah, so do you want to just go ahead and go to Nina and Daphne?
Sure.
Because we can sum up Sam and Marshall real quick. Marshall's grandfather doesn't want to marry them because he would have to give up his dukedom to be a prince consort. And he just views that as a huge downgrade, which I don't completely understand, because he thinks that his sister is the better child. So wouldn't you be jumping at the chance to let her be the actual heir?
Right? That's what I was thinking. Wouldn't you want her to be the heir?
Yeah, don't you want him to not be heir? I don't know. Maybe there's some sexism there.
His grandpa sounds like a horrible person. I don't like grandpa.
He sounds like someone who has gone through the ring of fire and has come out the other side and is like, hey, if you're gonna get through this life, you're gonna need to be tough. And that is his kind of philosophy, is he needs to toughen up, basically. But yeah, so doesn't want them to date, but they love each other so much that they want to date. How we just want to be together.
And it takes Sam such a long time to be like, oh.
To come up with the idea that she can abdicate her own position.
Yeah, I was yelling that.
So she wants to give up her position as princess, but that's not good enough. And they decide they can't just live as a couple. They need to run away to a tropical island.
It really sounds like a case of the grass is greener on the other side.
It's just so ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, will they, won't they? And then they run away to Hawaii with each other. Woo, that's the entirety of Sam's plot.
I love that Hawaii is a sovereign nation.
Yes, good for them.
I thought that was so cool.
Good for them.
As it should be.
But that's their whole plot line. She just goes completely MIA and writes a note to Beatrice like, hey, I just need to not be a princess for a while. Bye. Beatrice finally decides, she's like, I'm done taking Teddy for granted, which good.
Good.
A little late, but good. And so she runs off to the airport. They get in a car crash and she's in a coma. So right when they need Sam to act as the reigning monarch, even if temporary, possibly forever, you know.
Yeah, and then Sam somehow has no idea that this is all happening.
Yeah, because they ran away before it happened, and apparently they don't watch the news. We'll talk about it next book, but I'm a little surprised that they don't hear about it. That'd be kind of a big deal, even to Hawaii. So they want to find Sam, they find the note, and they're like, cool, so Jeff is gonna have to rule the country. And poor Jeff was not about this life. He was so far down in the line of succession a year ago. I mean, he's had the standard training, but he didn't act as heir for a while, so the castle wasn't like, okay, here's all the things you need to know to be. Didn't even have first level clearance when this book began, and now he's ruling the country. Oh my gosh. So, great time to go MIA, Sam. So, my favorite plot lines are Daphne and Nina. They all disappointed me in the end. So they still hate each other, whatever. Daphne is dating Jefferson and she's gonna go to college. It's gonna be good. They're gonna be together. It's gonna be cute, whatever, this, that, and the other thing she's got in the bag, right? But she ends up not being able to go to college because her dad, okay.
Oh, the Madisons.
So the Madisons, who obviously come down from James Madison, so very famous, been titled since America's inception, basically. And she hasn't been in the other books because she's conveniently been out of the country.
Yeah, let me just bring this character back for the drama.
for the drama. So they don't like each other. Daphne doesn't like her. They view each other as rivals because Jeff. And her dad, this is what I'm struggling with. Her dad went to Vegas. Instead of playing normal gambling games, he gambled on his daughter and whether or not she'd become queen in the end.
Yeah.
I guess you can bet on anything in Vegas.
I mean, people lose their houses.
They do, but it was just such a weird thing to bet on.
Yeah.
So he gets in trouble for this.
For ungentlemanly behavior.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's because he gambled, period, or if it's because he basically insider trading
Oh.
and voted on his daughter.
Maybe.
And that's what was ungentlemanly? I don't know. The book does not clarify. It doesn't care to clarify.
No, I think it's just like an abstract, like, this is ungentlemanly behavior. But I'm not going to tell you what that is.
No, and so it's a little hard to explain because I don't completely understand it. But he's going to lose his title with this review board. And who is in charge of the review board? None other than
Mr. Madison.
Duke Madison or Lord Madison. So it seems like a personal thing. Her mom is like, hey, they could have totally protected him, but they didn't because, you know, he's an outsider and they don't like him.
Yeah, and I don't even remember how'd they get their title.
I don't think it's ever really mentioned.
Okay.
Or if it is, it's not a focal point.
Gotcha.
So that's happening and that's not great. And so because they might not have a title and they're paying all these lawyer fees, Daphne can't go to college.
Because they used her money for it and somehow it's Daphne's fault.
Oh, with that mom, everything's Daphne's fault.
That mom makes me so angry. I think that's the point. She really makes me so mad.
You gotta make Daphne sympathetic somehow.
I know, but still.
So that's one thing. So she decides to, quote unquote, decides. She is told she's taking a gap year and to get over it. Basically, she was like, why do you even need to go to college? You just need to be married. And I'm just like, I get it. But you do see how her having a college degree would be appealing to Jefferson, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised she's so, oh, this is whatever, you don't worry about college, when she was like, how dare you not get an invite to every single party he's at. You know, her going to college ensures that she can be with Jefferson a lot.
Yeah.
And the mom's just chill about it. I do not know about that. That seems a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, her mom's not exactly the brightest, though.
No, never claimed that for sure. But that's her plotline with Gabriella. Nina, on the other hand, is friends with Jeff again, which is a horrible decision. But beside the point, they're friends again. Jeff and her talk a bunch. They do a lot of college stuff together. And Gabriella invites Jefferson to a tailgate that her sorority is hosting with the fraternity that Jefferson is going to pledge to.
Yeah.
Which, so many thoughts about security and things like that. But
right.
The point is, she gets to go to this very fancy tailgate that Gabriella didn't want her to go to. There, the guys kind of do some hazing games, but not bad ones.
Mildly embarrassing ones.
Mildly embarrassing ones.
And it's not even that bad because the security guard collects all the phones.
It's true. So no one can blackmail you or anything like that.
Yeah. So
as they're watching them, Gabriella talks smack about Jefferson, which, my girl.
You're trying to get with him and you're talking bad about him? What?
Anyone could tell him.
But she's just so confident that no one will.
Yeah, apparently. She eventually calls him stupid, and Nina takes great offense at this.
As she should.
Because what the heck?
Yeah.
Ma'am? Wow. Okay. So Nina steps up and is like, hey, you're stupid and I hate you and I wish you weren't so two-faced, blah, blah, blah. She said it better than I did.
I like your summary of it, though. It's a good one.
So she ends up making an enemy out of Gabriella because nobody stands up to me. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. And then the next day, basically, she finds out that her scholarship was pulled.
Yeah.
Oh, we promised too many people scholarships, so we looked back through to make sure everyone needed theirs, and oh, you don't fit the requirements anymore, so we're going to take your scholarship.
Yeah.
And it's signed by the board, and guess who's the chairman of the board?
It couldn't be a Mr. Madison.
Lord Madison.
No.
So, because she feels that because she stood up to Gabriella went to her father, who was like, cool, I'll just screw over this random child for your petty benefit. My word. So, weirdly enough, Nina and Daphne end up at the same book signing at the library, and they kind of bond over books, which you've never seen Daphne read a book the entire series.
But surprise, she reads.
But now she's an avid reader. It's fine. So they bond over books and stuff, and then they bond over hating Gabriella.
Valid way to bond.
And then Daphne's like, we should get her. And Nina's like, what? She's like, we should get her. We should do something and get leverage over her. And so she has to do what we want her to do. And so they decide they're going to team up and bring down Gabriella, which ends up being they go to her house a bunch. Like, they go to her house during a party and they sneak into her room, which does not work out.
No.
Finds them almost immediately.
It did make me laugh, though, that they were like, and her bookshelves didn't have books on them.
Oh no!
She's so uncultured. Maybe she just has a Kindle. Minimalistic queen? I don't know.
She could just use bookshelves to display stuff. Like, it's a pretty good space to display stuff. Anyway, their pettiness aside, they don't get any evidence. They were going to get a flash drive of her computer, but that it doesn't end up working out because Daphne drops it.
Right?
And Gabriella picks it up and finds it. But they do find out that apparently Gabriella does cocaine.
It's just a little pick-me-up. It's just some coke.
Well, hot dang. This has been a cozy romance up to this point, and then it's just like, and illicit drug use. They didn't get any recording of it, and so they decide, hey, we need to get a recording of her doing cocaine to use that against her. And so Daphne decides to pretend to be her friend.
Like, Gabriella isn't going to pick up on that. It's fake. She's the queen of fakeness.
And so Daphne kind of cuts her nose off to spite her face at this point. She, in public, gets jealous of Jefferson talking to a girl. He went to a party, and then there was a picture of him with a girl, and she acted insanely jealous about it.
And it freaked Jefferson out.
And it freaked Jefferson out, because she's like, whoa, where is this coming from?
Oh, what happened? Yeah.
Because she's really selling it.
A little too much. I think there was some real feelings going on there.
There was, because he did cheat on her.
Yeah. And Daphne just now figured out who it was.
Well, she's about to find out who it was.
True.
So she does all of this so that Gabriella will take her under her wing and give her advice. And so Daphne very clunkily gets her to offer cocaine. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was like, it's not Daphne's finest work.
No, because she finally offers it. She's like, hey, you should show me how to use it. Gabriella does a line and then offers it to Daphne. And Daphne's like, nope, I'm good.
Thank you, though, for that blackmail. I will use that unsuccessfully.
Why are you acting so freaking weird? And then Nina comes out and is like, ha ha ha, we have the thing. I don't know. I would have waited to confront her. Maybe don't.
Yeah, poorly executed on all fronts.
Don't be obvious that you snuck into her room.
Yeah.
A little breaking and entering. Or it wasn't even their room. I think it was at the palace. And it was just a side room that they went into. But it was just very clunky work from Daphne, who is queen of plans.
Yeah, and she really just blew it on this one.
Speaking of, Ethan's not in this book.
Yeah, he's off traveling, isn't he?
He is doing a study abroad, which good for him.
Yeah, get your priorities back in line, my guy.
But gets this blackmail, says, hey, if you don't reinstate her scholarship, and if you don't make sure my dad keeps his title, we're going to release this to your parents and to the media. So this is the part where I go from liking Nina to hating Nina. Not hate, hate's a strong word, but not liking her. We've lost the moral high ground, period. Jefferson's been acting wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And has been hanging out a lot with Nina. And they're friends now, and he's like, oh, I'm so glad that you're friends now. Takes her into the hedge garden, talks with her about, Daphne's been acting so weird. I don't know what to do with her. Anyway, let me kiss you.
Yeah, Jefferson, dude, you have a girlfriend.
I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Remember last book when he was pissed off off that Nina didn't tell him that he and Ethan were dating?
Yeah.
You were broken up. They had no reason. I mean, the best friend probably should have told him, but Nina had no reason to tell you. You were broken up.
She owes you nothing. Nothing.
Zero things. Why did you confront Nina? But he kisses her, and Nina kind of lets him, which is a dumb move on her part. And guess who sees? Freaking Daphne.
To no one's surprise, Daphne goes off the deep end, as she should.
Yeah, because she was actually forming a bond with Nina. They were becoming friends.
And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy of betrayal.
Because this whole book, her mind was like, she's going to betray you. She's going to betray you. And you find out that her mom was like, you can't have female friends because they're always going to stab you in the back.
And lo and behold.
Thanks, Mom. But yeah, she tells the boy, shut up. Nina's good. Nina's a good person. She's not doing this to get back at me. She's not doing this to get Jefferson. I trust Nina.
You shouldn't have.
Oh. And then what's sexy, she walks away and she's like, okay, I need to fix this, as she does. And Nina pulls away from him after she walks away, which is like, oh. But she reads Jeff the Riot Act. She's like, you can't keep ping-ponging between me and Daphne because your relationship gets hard. Every time the relationship isn't 100%, you go back to the other one. You can't keep doing this. We're people with feelings and emotions, and this is so unfair to both of us. And I was like, good. Thank you. He needed to hear it. He's a selfish prick. Ugh.
Yeah, I, throughout these books, have said that, like, I am not Jefferson's biggest fan.
I hate Jefferson. Facts. I just hate him. Oh, he's such a Labrador Retriever. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Labrador Retrievers, period. But you're not a good one.
Maybe Gabriella was right when she called him stupid.
Labradors are loyal.
Jeff doesn't know the meaning of that word.
And it's so obvious that it's coming, and it's so frustrating, but I'm so glad Nina said it.
Yeah.
I just wish Daphne had been there to hear it.
I know, I just hate that Daphne didn't hear it.
Because I think Daphne needed to hear that just as much as Jeff needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I think she deserved someone saying, hey, what you're doing to Daphne is crappy. For her to be like, yeah, Jefferson treats me terribly.
He really does.
Oh, it would have been so good for her, for someone to stand up for her, but alas, does not hear. And so this is the part where she realized, holy crap, the girl I saw in Jefferson's Bread at his graduation party where he cheated on her was Nina.
Acting like she also didn't cheat on Jefferson. Daphne, please.
They have deep-seated issues, but it's not so much about Jefferson cheating, it's the fact that it's Nina.
Yeah.
The friend she had been forming this whole time, and it's just so rough.
Yeah, and the fact that Nina never told Daphne, hey.
It's so rough. And so this is the part where we get to the thing that you mentioned. She's like, I need to spin this around. And Jefferson's talking to her, and he's like, you're being weird, you're acting weird, I feel like I don't know you, which you don't, but
whatever.
What is happening? And even Nina, when he's talking about it, and he's like, oh, she's acting weird. She's like, Nina's thinks, she doesn't say, is she acting weird, or is you just finally seeing the real her?
Yeah, and also Jefferson reveals that he's the one that reinstated Nina's scholarship.
Oh yeah, because that's what happens here. Nina gets an email that says her scholarship has been reinstated.
And they think their plan worked.
And so they're like, yes, this is awesome. The blackmail worked. And then Daphne gets a call from her mother that her father lost the title. And she's like, what the heck? Why did it work for Nina, but it didn't work for me? And this was once again a moment where her inner brain was like, oh, she's working with Gabriella against you. And she's like, no, it's Nina. I trust Nina. I trust her. And then,
gets betrayed.
Nina, you've lost the high ground. This entire book, there have been several times where she had taken it too far. And she's like, oh, but we haven't kissed, so it's fine.
Nina, you should have said something way earlier.
He is cheating on Daphne with you emotionally. Just, it's facts. He is actively falling in love with you, doing romantic things, taking you on dates, wanting to live in your dorm so you're near each other. Girl, you're not just friends. And this whole book, she's like, oh, we're just friends. It's fine. That's what friends do.
No, it's not.
Whatever high ground she had is gone. It's so rough. I hate it. How do you make me feel bad for Like, to the point where because I've been sympathetic to parts of Daphne's story.
Her mom?
Her parents are trash.
Yeah.
They're just the worst. And so you can really empathize with that. You've had a terrible culture that you grew up in, and it completely twisted your worldviews. But Nina
deserves every bad thing coming towards her.
Oh gosh, girl. And you didn't even... Why Jeff? Just why Jeff?
You could have done so much better, Nina.
So, yeah, that's all their plot lines, Beatrice got in the wreck and whatever. So, like I said, Jefferson confronts her, you've been acting weird, what's going on? And your favorite part, as before mentioned, she explains her period is late. She does not say I'm pregnant.
I know, she lets Jeff fill in the blanks.
She specifically says I'm late. Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
When they find out that she's not.
How ironic would it be if in the next book she actually is?
Find out she's actually pregnant?
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But yeah, so she says I'm late, and so Jefferson decides to stand with her, which, okay.
At least you have some loyalty for your children. Kudos.
Yeah, you stepping up. I feel that. I mean, you don't have to be with the mother of your child to have a happy life. Maybe they have to do it for optics, but anyway, he steps up. He's like, I'm going to take care of you, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, good job, Jeff. Happy you are being a decent person. So, yeah, there's the book.
The drama just keeps getting more and more every time.
That's the thing. It has so much more drama, and I like it a lot, but I feel like it has a lot of story, but it doesn't have as much plot as the last book. Or maybe I'm just getting better at summarizing them in shorter amounts of time. But yeah, it just doesn't feel... I know why, because I cut out all of the Luis parts.
Oh, oops.
Luis and Beatrice, let me talk about them real quick. They become friends. Luis is everything that Beatrice isn't in the eyes of the world and in the eyes of Beatrice. But they slowly become friends. She even takes her to France. She meets Louis what even is the ridiculous number?
A very high one.
Let me find it. Louis the 23rd.
That's a lot. It's a lot of Louis.
A lot of Louis. And her name is Louise.
Makes sense.
Is the whole thing. But goes to France, finds out that the father is terrible because she's not a boy. He's like, I hate you and I'm going to take out everything on you.
Yeah.
You suck at as a ruler. I hate everything you're doing. You're the worst. And so this kind of comes up later. They've been friends, all this stuff. She has the climate change vote, and it's a little excruciating.
I know.
Every country has to answer out loud yes or no.
Which has to take so long.
It takes so long. But they go in alphabetical order, and it's not going well. And then France says no to it, and Beatrice just feels betrayed because, we're friends, which is a pretty rough lesson to learn. Monarchs be monarchs.
Monarchs do be monarching.
In the end, Beatrice makes a speech, and it causes Luis to be like, screw my father, let's do another vote. And they vote, and everybody votes for it. And so she gets her bill passed.
Yay! I mean, good for Luis for realizing. I like Luis.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah, I think she was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
I want to know more about that friend group. That's who if there's ever another book or related series, I want that friend group.
Yes, she's friends with a bunch of other heirs because they went to boarding school together, and you find out that Beatrice went to an American school because, America, but everyone else apparently goes to this international boarding school.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I get it. You want to be one of the people. That's pretty important. But having that networking opportunity to become friends with other monarchs is pretty invaluable. I see why they do it. But yeah, so she gets her bill passed. And that's what I like how the author layers it, because you finally get the success that she's been working towards. And then immediately, as soon as her professional life is going well, her personal life just crumbles.
It's just trash. Yeah. Feels bad.
And that feels so relatable. Maybe it's just a trope I've seen in the media one too many times.
Yeah.
Watched one too many Hallmark movies sitting in a doctor's office. But that just always seems to be how it goes. Whatever you prioritize is going well. So either you prioritize your job or you prioritize your home life, because our home life balance sucks.
Yeah.
And it was very good. I liked that layering between the two.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good layering.
Especially if you're going to have a drama book, which is kind of what it's become. It's not really a romance book anymore.
No.
At least not in this book. None of the girls got new guys. There weren't new romance options, so you didn't really have the meet cute or the getting to know each other or any of the romance parts we've had from other books. We just have additional drama.
Yeah, this is called Drama, the book.
He's drama. He's all the drama.
You want a drama? Okay, here.
Here you go.
Have some drama.
How do I even call this a romance series anymore? Oh, well. But yeah, I think that's everything. If we missed anything, it's because we want to encourage you to read the book, not because we forgot.
Exactly. It's all a tactic. We just really enjoy these books, so we want you to read them. So we leave out key plot details.
So you can support the author.
Yeah.
It's all planned. It's all a master plan here.
From the goodness of our heart. We're just so smart.
General thoughts? That Daphne redemption, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was so good.
It kind of hurt to see her fall back into her old ways afterwards.
It did.
And I think that answers my question. Like, I feel like the author really is pulling for us to like Daphne by the end of this.
Or at least understand her. You don't have to like her or like the decisions she makes.
Not despise her, I think is what we're going for.
Yeah, because neither of us like what she's doing.
True.
But you get it. You're like, I understand why you did it. That doesn't make it okay, but at least you have that closure there. It's like, okay, you're not just a completely evil person.
Yeah.
You got trauma. You got reasons. Can help in our own healing.
May not agree with your methods, but
I see how we got here.
I see why you are like this now.
Which is very comforting to people in general when they can do that.
Yeah. Good move on the author's part.
It is very good. And remember last book, you're like, oh, Daphne, I hate her. And I'm just like, oof, wait a book, girl.
I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I was kind of rooting for her and Nina.
I know. They were cute.
I know. I feel bad for Daphne. She just wants a friend.
I just wish they were both bi.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
They could just marry each other.
That'd be really cute.
But yeah, that's where everything was left off. Beatrice is in a coma. Sam is MIA in Hawaii. Nina doesn't know what she's doing with her life.
Does she ever?
Because once again, I did forget, she goes to the hospital and finds Daphne there instead. But at least this time she stayed. But it's just kind of nuts. We have amplified the drama.
Truly.
Truly.
The drama is amplified like tenfold. It's insane.
Yeah. And so I had another book in me to deal with the drama, but I think if she had gone off, because there's some other book series where they drag out the love triangle, or they drag out the will they, won't they, or this and the other thing, and you're just like, I'm done. I don't care.
Yeah, you're like, this has been too much.
This is ridiculous at this point. These people just need to go away. So not there yet.
That's good.
I think she picked the perfect place to end. One question for the author. How does she pick all the royal names?
I know.
We have my list of names goes to A.
That's so many names.
That's so many names. And she names all the royalty from the different countries. You got people here from China. You have people here from
Russia.
You have people here from India and Greece and Canada and Slovenia.
Yeah, everyone but Hawaii, basically.
Yeah, Hawaii gets mentioned several times about not joining the League of Kings.
It's like it's an important plot point or something.
We have the Queen of Mexico and the Austrian Prince and the Hungarian Prince and the Prince of Italy and the Prince of Bhutan and Zimbabwe and Morocco. All of these places, and she had to name them. And some of them are easy, like France. We joke, but yeah, literally all of them are named Louis, basically.
Yeah.
So that feels like an easy pick. I feel like some of the other ones might be an easy pick, but how? How did she pick all of these names? How much research did she have to put into
Oh my gosh, I know.
them appropriately? Which makes me wonder what people from those countries would think, because, you know, I don't know the naming conventions of Hungarian royalty.
And how many names did she not pick?
There's so many. So I would be very curious how in the world she named all of these people.
I also wondered that, but my question would be, how does she keep all of these different plot threads separate?
I would love to see her Excel spreadsheet.
Without just confusing them in her brain. Did she just pull out the classic red string and do it that way?
Got a character map going on.
I was like, because there's so many characters and then there's just so many different things happening. I'm like, how did you just keep that all straight in your brain?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
Would love to see her organization.
Yes.
Rating, in all caps, the drama out of 10.
Yeah. right? I was also like, this is a lot of drama.
This isn't a romance book. It's still sci-fi, which I think is way more interesting in this book because they kind of drop tidbits in other books. But because you have all of these things, we learned that the French monarchy never fell. The Russian monarchy never fell.
Oh, yeah, that was my other question. How does she decide which points from history to keep and which points to be like, that didn't happen?
Yeah.
Or like when they poke fun at things where it's like, can you imagine a democracy voting?
Yeah, because it really makes me wonder because France's revolution was about the country going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Essentially, and overtaxing the people. And one of the issues was them helping in the American Revolution. And is the implication because King George became a king, they had no other examples, and so they didn't rise up. The Third Estate didn't rise up when they were excluded from meetings because they thought, oh, this is just a lot of life. And that's why it didn't happen. Or did America just make good on its promise and actually pay back stuff, help them to keep their monarchy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have questions there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, my rating was miscommunication out of 10. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good part of this book.
If we all just talked about our feelings and our thoughts, this book would be much shorter.
Where is the therapist?
Right? I'm like, where is the therapist, y'all? You all need group therapy immediately.
Yeah.
Even more so after reading this book.
Read again, probably, yeah. I've read it twice now.
Absolutely. I think if the fourth one is just as good, and considering that you're rereading them all, I'm assuming it's good. I'm considering making this one the series I buy paper copies of. So I will read it again several times.
I read it the first time and I was like, I don't want to buy it, but I enjoy it. But having reread them and they still hold up, I might buy them. Favorite of the series so far? I gotta give it up for the Nina Daphne.
Yeah, it's just a hard pull between this one and the second, but I think this one wins.
The Nina Daphne Tia.
Yeah, especially just seeing the potential Daphne has.
Is pretty good. And what was the issue with the first book was we didn't like half the guys.
Oh my gosh, they were trash.
And then the second book came around and we were at least lukewarm on all the guys.
Yeah, and Beatrice stood up for herself. It gave me Princess Diaries, where she was like, I don't have to get married.
Yeah. But this book, it wasn't about the guys. It was about the guys, but it wasn't about the guys.
And I feel like we got to see a lot of the females' personalities really come through. Good things and bad things about all of them.
Yeah, you got to see their personalities not in a narrative centered around men.
Exactly.
Does the first book pass the Bechtel test?
No.
I don't think it does.
Do any of these?
Yes.
Okay.
This book did because Beatrice and Louise talk about politics.
Oh, true.
And Nina and Daphne talk about books.
Yeah, and other women.
I don't know if the first one does. Maybe if it does, it's like a very passing scene.
Yeah.
Because Daphne talks to her mom, but they talk about Jefferson.
Yeah.
And Sam talks to Nina about Teddy. And Nina talks to Sam about Jeff.
Yeah.
No, there is a conversation where when Nina gets mad at her and she's like, hey, stop treating me like I'm extra. So I guess it would pass. Barely, but it passes.
Barely. By the skin of its teeth.
But this one definitely does.
Yeah, for sure.
Jefferson still hasn't talked to Beatrice.
Going on book 3.
He becomes freaking king regent and acting regent and has not talked to Beatrice.
Will they talk in the 4th book? Read to find out. The plot twist is going to be that Jefferson's actually like a ghost or something.
The true mystery. But have you read this book? How are we feeling about the main characters now? Do you have any book recommendations? Tell us all about it in the comments below. If you like the video, hit like, and if you're enjoying yourself, hit subscribe for more. Thank you for exploring Rivals with us. Join us next time when we'll be covering The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. I'm Sam Reiner.
And I'm Hannah Rossell.
And we hope to see you and a friend here next time. Escape With Me Book Club is a Lunar Skulk production. Check us out on TikTok or Instagram to keep up to date with us. Lunar_SKULK.